Choosing the wrong PhD program can cause you many years of stress, money, and missed opportunities. And the right one can be a foundation for your fulfilling career. Hi everyone, my name is Gulsum Kulsharova. In this video, we're going to talk about funding, supervisors, programs, and most importantly, your comfort as a human being. First things first, humans' basic needs are the most important. You can't chase career, you cannot chase PhD, science, and research without fulfilling your basic needs as a human being. According to Maslow's pyramid, human being can be self-actualized only after fulfilling human basic needs, which means you should put your comfort as the first thing whenever you're choosing PhD programs. Some people go for PhD programs that could be not fulfilling their all human needs. Let's say the stipend could be very small. Student must have to stay in a very uncomfortable housing conditions, or a student could be always half hungry. In such conditions, it's extremely difficult. I must say, it may be possible, but it could be very difficult to chase your dreams and have a very happy experience doing your PhD. PhD can last long years, and staying in such stressful conditions actually may lead to burnout. In the end, such person can even close this chapter and never may want to look back. So before you choose the program, during the selection process, you should ask several questions. First of all, what is the stipend that the PhD program needs to offer? Is it affordable? Is the city where your university going to be is safe? Is it affordable for living under your conditions? What is the housing situation in that place? And of course, what is the supervisor like that you're going to be working with? Is he or she supportive as a human being? So before you choose the PhD program, remember that your comfort is the most important thing. You are the priority, not your university, not the ranking. Do not romanticize academia. Yes, sometimes we have this picture of doing as much as possible and suffering in the name of research. But remember, we're all humans, we're living in this physical world, and of course, our needs and comfort matter. And only after those needs are met, we can focus properly on research and do successful and good things in this world. Many people ask me how to choose a PhD program correctly. I think it depends on which stage of academia or research you stand. So here I'd like to talk about the 2-3 ways of choosing a PhD depending on your experience. So first, path number 1. In case you have been working in academia, you are early career researcher, let's say you've been a researcher or full-time researcher, part-time researcher, you have some research experience working in academic research group. In such case, you may have already some research connections in other universities in different countries. So the best thing is to continue. If you're interested in the current project that you're working on, the best thing is to continue that project, take it deeper, and choose a PhD project that is suitable for your background, so you can build upon your competence that you have already gained by working in this area. And the best way is to find a suitable PhD program through connections. If you have research connections, if your supervisor or your colleagues already have groups that are working on the same topic in different universities, the best way is to connect them and to have your CV through reference. Overall, in the world, we know whatever field you are in, connections and networking opportunities are very important, take important place in finding appropriate jobs and appropriate opportunities, because people always like to work with people that they like or that they have the third-party opinion about. So that's one thing that you can consider. If you do not have such people, connections or networks, then the best way to reach out to them is you could try LinkedIn. You can do cold emails, just directly email them. But before you do that, I would suggest to bring your LinkedIn profile in order and have that inserted in your email, because people always are visual creatures. So we tend to believe if we see a picture of a person that is offering us their services. So PhD is like looking for a job, basically. Path number 2, for those who do not have any research experience, or they may have a little bit of research experience, but they are still in school, or they don't have direct connections in other universities or to other supervisors. Under this path, I would divide into 2 groups. Let's say group A. Group A, for those candidates who do not have any research experience, they kind of have to go through general application. And in such case, you could look into a ranking of a university and go through universities, countries, PhD length, factors that in your interest. And based on that, you can limit to the universities that offer such majors, PhD programs under the major that you choose. And Group B is sort of group that have a little bit of research experience and they already decided what research topic they'd like to continue on. In such case, you could, for research papers in your area, in the topic of your interest, and trace back to those groups that are publishing this work and find the PhD program for your topic based on the paper and supervisors. Based on that, you can reach out to them as well as apply through general application process. Another topic that I'd like to focus on is the supervisor selection. If you've watched my previous video about the PhD program in general, you may have already listened. I've already talked about the importance of supervisor selection in PhD in comparison with master's program. In PhD, the selection of a supervisor is much more important because supervisor is the person that you'd be working with in the next 3 to 7 years of your life, and personal rapport is very important. There are other resources that you could use in order to find out and have a better picture. Of course, it's very difficult to find a supervisor that you know in advance. If you've worked with such person, then it makes sense to continue with such person, because even if the program rank is lower, you already know the person, your potential supervisor, you have some work experience and you like the person, then that's more important, because that would be a foundation for your happy experience. Quality of life is very important. Your mood is very important. If you're in a better mood, you'll have the best results. Therefore, if you have a trade-off between choosing a ranking of a university or the supervisor that you know that you'll be able to achieve great things, then go for the latter. However, if you do not have any information, you can look into reviews online, look for forums, reach out to students in the potential university and the people that worked with this person. So try to find answers how experienced this potential professor is, and how you find that is through looking publication. If the research profile is good, then most likely the professor has good experience. There are some exceptions. Let's say if the professor is already accomplished, is in a tenure track and has spent a lot of years in academia, then it's possible that you may not be directly working with that person. And there are, of course, exceptions, but such very accomplished professors oftentimes have other postdocs or junior professors who may be your nominal supervisor. Make sure to pay attention, what do other students say about the potential group or potential supervisor, how hands-on or hands-off that person is. So the best source of information are people that have experience either being in that group or currently working in the group. The second source is a lot of reviews, online reviews. Do not be afraid to reach out to alumni, to graduates. We oftentimes underestimate openness of other people. Many times people turn out to be more positive than we think, and sometimes, especially people who have gone through the path that you're interested in, they're the best source of information. So do not be afraid to reach out, write LinkedIn messages, or find them through social media and try your best. Not necessarily everyone will reply, but there is a good chance that some people would reply and you'll get some information. Another thing is funding. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, our basic needs need to be met during the PhD to have happy and fulfilling experience doing research, and funding is essential factor, and which means look into the stipend of your potential PhD program of interest. In general, PhDs are funded by research assistantships or teaching assistantships, fellowships, scholarships, some sponsorships. Depending on the country that you're applying, these vary, funding sources vary. So if we talk about the United States, PhD degree is almost 90% always funded by university. I've never met anyone who are paying out of their pocket when I studied in the States. University typically offers research assistantships, which means your potential supervisor would be funding your tuition, or university could be offering teaching assistantships, TA-ships, which means as a return to university, you may have to take some teaching assistant job, part-time job, which means you will be a teaching assistant in a certain class for undergraduates or for master's level courses. And in return, university would be waiving your tuition for your PhD study. In the UK and in Europe, universities also offer tuition stipends, but typically students get some kind of scholarships, either university scholarships or some company scholarships or their own, such as, for example, in my case, it was a Marie Curie Actions Fellowship where I held a full-time job position, which was called Marie Curie Trainee. And in return, the university was paying me a monthly salary from this grant that my supervisor won. Those are some of the factors that you should consider before applying for a PhD program. If you are in the best, highly ranked university, but you have a miserable time, that experience is not worth it. Remember that your comfort is the most important thing, and the ranking comes later. The supervisor, funding, stipend, cost of living, whether you will have a happy, good experience or not, those are all important factors. If you have further questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.